All right, yes, sir.
I was just wondering because you're so good at making cover songs. Are you also good at being a judge of winners of reality searches? Because basically, they're also doing cover songs in their contest pieces.
That's a great question. I mean, we were asked by Simon Cowell at one point in his team to go work on the X Factor, which is like a talent competition in the UK and the United States and stuff. And it was actually, I think they understood that if we can kind of arrange these covers the way that we have, and that maybe we could help their contestants arrange the covers in the same way. And it was an amazing experience. So, I mean, it's hard to answer your question about judging, though, more so, it's hard to judge other people. I think it's such a subjective art form that it's kind of like, it's very sensitive and it's hard to judge, but, so I don't know, it's hard to
maybe help give them pointers, you know, like constructive feedback. But ultimately, I feel like the beauty, especially what we've noticed on YouTube, is that just the whole world's so diverse. There's so many different ways you can succeed or find success or find an audience that, like Fabian said, it's kind of difficult. I don't feel like it would necessarily be our place to judge somebody else's work as much as it would be to maybe just give them some tips about how to get more exposure or to find their audience. But it's like, at the end of the day, I think it's kind of like the question about the hopeless romantics and love and stuff like that. Like, just be true to your art form and who you are. As long as you're happy and loving what you create, I feel like you're going to find an audience. And maybe it's not a huge audience early on. Like for us, it was all very gradual. It took years and years to build. But I feel like you'll find some audience. You know, you'll find something and then be able to kind of make your own decisions after that.
But it's not as if you sit in front of the TV, all three of you, and maybe watch a show together and say, that one's going to win because that's a good cover. Maybe because of technical aspect, maybe because of the singing, maybe because of the performance.
I think we are actually. We do have strong opinions about what makes a good or not good cover. I mean, we definitely do, because we've even noticed that when other major artists do covers, sometimes we don't actually think that, we think they could have done a better job, to be honest. And then there's certain major artists who just do amazing covers. Like John Mayer's had a few that are really, really good, where we even think like, man, we wish we would have done that way, or you know, that kind of thing. We don't really watch the singing competition shows. We did when we were younger, but we just don't anymore. So I don't really know about that, but I just know that even like we signed this artist, Janelle Garcia, to our record label, and she was actually one of the contestants on X Factor when we were judges on the show. And we definitely have a strong sense and a strong feeling about what makes for a compelling and an emotional and a really good cover. But you know, we usually just practice that for ourselves and apply that to the songs that either we're doing or that we're doing with her.
Yeah, I think some of what maybe makes us unique too is knowing what it's a lot of it's about song choice and then about arrangement. Because we've seen a lot of times on these singing competitions, again, not so much recently, but years ago when we were really into like American Idol and all that stuff, where you would see even from week to week a phenomenal singer do an amazing job, and then the next week it's just not the same. And it's not that they became all of a sudden a worse singer, they just didn't pick the right song. The arrangement kind of failed them. So I feel like that's kind of why Simon Cowell had reached out to us. I feel like as he saw the consistency in our catalog. And so it ended up being a lot of fun to kind of like take that role with a lot of the contestants. Like that was the year that Fifth Harmony was formed. So we got to see them all as individuals and then like performing together and stuff like that. And then Janelle was on that show, and there was a lot of talent that was on that season. But that was kind of like, that was a really validating moment because we had already spent so many years doing that just with the three brothers, where we will all kind of help each other pick covers and stuff like that. To then do that with other artists was a really unique experience.
My last question, we have a contestant now on a reality show. It's Marcelito Pomoy. I don't know if you are aware of him, but my real question is, have you ever rooted for a Pinoy contestant on a reality show?
Say it again.
Have you ever rooted for a Filipino contestant on a reality, on a talent search on TV?
I don't. I've never seen.
Never seen.
You know, never been exposed to that. Like I've never seen, at least in this, even in the United States, and the ones that we watch, because we don't have access to this show. But back home, the shows that we watch, The Voice, X Factor, we haven't noticed very many Filipino contestants. But if there were, we would definitely root for them. I mean, back in the day, the Jabberwockies was like a dance crew, and we actually did a show with them. We were definitely rooting for them. But yeah, well, I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon and good morning. My question is, what's your criteria in terms of choosing which songs are you going to cover?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. There's a balance. Like for us, there's two different types of covers we do. One is timeless classics, and another one is maybe more of like a modern song. When it comes to the timeless classic, it's usually pretty easy because there's a list of songs that we have that we've already done, but a lot that we haven't, that we just love. Like we grew up listening to those songs. We know them like the back of our hand. And it's like we've spent so many years singing to them, whether it's in the car or in our bedrooms or whatever, that we already have a very strong idea of how we could perform them and kind of put our stamp on it. And then the other side of it is more with like a modern song. And for us, it's like, is there a strong melody there? What perspective is it being told from? Like if it's from a female perspective, does it even make sense for us to flip it? You know what I mean? Like is there some songs that it really makes more sense for a female or a male to be singing it? You know, like it wouldn't really have the same impact if you flip the pronoun. I don't know, there has to be like even just down to search cues, like a lot of the reason that we do it is for exposure and to be able to reach a big audience. So there's a lot of songs that maybe we think is a good song, but I don't know if it's not connecting with the world, you know, or different countries, then we maybe think twice about it. Like there's some songs that maybe we'll look at like a Spotify chart and maybe it's big in just the UK or just the US, but we want to be such a global band where if it's not big in the Philippines, then it's kind of like we maybe think twice about it, you know? So there's a lot of things I think that go into it, from analytics to more emotion to lyrics to melodies, arrangements, all that stuff.
Do you have covers from before that you wish to
Do again.
put a different
redo
it?
Yeah, I think there would be a few. We already have done that for a few of them. Some of them, maybe the reason could be just the technology we had at the time. You know, like the camera wasn't very good because we did it in 2008. The recording equipment, like we were just starting out, so we were having to do it in like a bedroom. But now we have like our own studio and stuff like that. So I would love for us to redo Wonderwall. There's a few songs that. Landslide is another one we love, the song Landslide, but again, that was just such an older era for us. And then some songs, I feel like maybe we did them on an instrument that I love how it came out, but I would love to maybe do a piano version, or, you know, like just change it up even again, just as like a fun exercise, because we love the song so much, to do even just an entirely different version, or to do it as a collab. Like I think we did Yellow by Coldplay, but I feel like that could actually make for maybe a really pretty duet, because the lyrics are so emotional. So yeah, we're always kind of thinking about stuff like that, you know, like songs we haven't done, newer songs, and then even songs that we have done, how we could put another spin on it.
And what has been the most memorable conversation you had with the original artist whom you did the cover?
Interesting. There's been a few. I think one that was kind of a funny flip on it was Louis Tomlinson from One Direction had actually reached out to us before we knew who they were. And this was like very early days, like where I think they had just finished the show, like that season, and they got third place, I think. So they had like a really rabid fan base, but they didn't have a lot of new music. I think What Makes You Beautiful was like he released as a single. And he actually tweeted us and got so many people to retweet and to reply to that when we checked our feed the next day on Twitter, it was just completely bombarded with like all of their fans. And it was trying to get us to do a cover of their single, What Makes You Beautiful. So we like looked it up and we're like, who is this? Like there's thousands of people that are tweeting or whatever. We looked them up, saw some of their videos of them performing on the competition on X Factor UK. And there were so many people, such a big response to it that we decided to do a cover of it. And we kind of formed a relationship from that when we went on a tour that they did in the UK, which was like a big first tour for them in like a couple arenas and stuff like that. So that was kind of a cool way where it was almost like we didn't know the original artist or the song, we hadn't heard it yet. And even a lot of people, honestly, in the whole rest of the world hadn't heard them yet. They hadn't broken overseas. But it was through like their interaction on Twitter with us and stuff that made us do the cover, and it all kind of blew up after that.
I think another example, now that I'm thinking about it, would probably be like Fifth Harmony, because it's not that, when a lot of these songs that we cover, we're never going to have a conversation with the original artist because we don't know them and they're off doing whatever they do. But Fifth Harmony was really special because we worked with them. We were their vocal coaches on the X Factor, so we literally had multiple conversations with these girls, working with them on a daily basis before they were even at all successful and famous. And then to see how they've gone on to just become so massive, and all the stuff Camila's doing with her solo career and everything. And I think one of the videos that we did with them is one of our most viewed videos of all time and stuff. So the fact that we actually know them and have a good relationship with them and have worked with them and seen their career kind of go, progress has been pretty cool for me. And I'm glad that that's one of our most viewed videos because it comes up a lot in conversation. What's your most viewed videos? And I like that I can bring them up. I like that there's that kind of connection with them.
And last question from me. How does your loved ones or significant other feel when you're out on a Valentine's Day doing a concert?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we've missed a lot of Valentine's Days at home. For us, it's really special because the Philippines has become kind of a place that we feel like is where we'd want to be if we weren't going to be home, for Valentine's Day.
We could all be hopeless together.
But our families are really supportive. Our wives really do appreciate that we get to travel and that we get to do what we love, and we always just find a different day to celebrate on. And we always, FaceTime or say hi or send them something from afar. But it's become a fun tradition for us to be here for Valentine's, and they're very supportive. So
I think we have a nice balance too, where we do spend so much quality time at home when we're home that I feel like it helps to make up for what makes touring a little bit tough, is being away from family. Whereas I feel like maybe somebody with a consistent job, they're technically home every day, but it may not be quality time. They don't necessarily get to go on little mini vacations or little things and spend a nice solid day or two with their loved one or family. So I think we kind of strike a good balance with that helps to kind of soften the blow of being away on Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.